This is such a big thing, right?
Thank you.
Come on, Jim. Good morning, Colin.
Morning.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. Fantastic. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for-
I wanted to be kind of businesslike.
Can I see the other girls?
Hello and welcome to Qatar's first sports podcast, In the Game. I'm your host, Steve Mackey, and we can't wait to introduce you to everything that is sports here in Qatar and afar. We're going to be bringing you personalities, company owners, institutions, individuals that are making a real difference. So, with us, enjoy the journey.
It's fun, man. Sports is fun.
Hello and welcome to In the Game, Qatar's first sports podcast. Oh my word, and we've got another QST cohort with us, and he's all the way from Singapore. Arifin, thank you so much for coming on the show. And I know, and I'm going to let people know what time it is here. Well, with you especially, it's 11 o'clock with you, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Oh my
It is
word.
11 p.m. Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. And thank you. I know that you're going to be talking about Stretch Skin, which you're one of the cohorts. And to get into QST and be one of the top 10, that's a huge achievement there.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, we are honored to be part of QST. Yeah.
And what was it like? We're going to talk about your product, but what was it like? Can you tell me the feeling when you knew you were going to be in the top 10? What was it like when they told you?
I was elated. I had a group of friends surrounding me, and then we actually broadcast the results on a big projector. So when we got, when we got to know that we are part of this top 10 in QST, we were like really went crazy. It's just that I had to show myself as professional, but I had my friends dancing around, They were
that's just fantastic. Oh, dear me, that's fantastic.
Really a lot of fun. Yeah, correct.
And just briefly, I'm keeping people excited. What's it like in Singapore? Is it? I've only stopped over when I was on my way to Hong Kong, but it's supposed to be a fantastic place.
It is a very beautiful place. It's a clean, we have a lot of trees. It's tropical climate. You can go out of your of your homes. You can go out from your wherever you are. You can get food. Food is everywhere, like 24 hours. You get, and it's a pretty safe country. That's what we are told. We do not know. We can when we compare when we travel, we are told not to go out and all that. But most Singaporeans are so used going out at any time of the day. Whether it's 3 a.m., whether it's 2 p.m., any time of the day you can get food, and we have a huge shopping center which is open 24 hours. So so it's a 24/7 kind of, the country is open 24/7. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And I remember that when we went there, and I'm sorry, everybody, we're going to talk technical stuff soon, but I remember when everybody went and they said, and we got briefed to not even spit chewing gum out, or don't you be throwing litter on the floor, you will be in trouble.
We have a joke in Singapore that Singapore is a fine country because you do anything and you can get fined, You do, But let me tell you now, they have laxed the rules with regards to chewing gum. So yes, you can still chew the chewing gum, but it's not, you can't find chewing gums everywhere. Typically, most Singaporeans go to Johor, buy a bit of chewing gum, bring it to Singapore and chew. So the authorities is a bit loose now in terms of the chewing gum ban, but the rest remains the same.
You have countries all over the world looking up to you and what you've achieved and try to copy your model. So congratulations. I can't wait to go there when this COVID comes to an end.
So you're welcome.
I can't wait to meet you. Okay, so we're going to talk about Stretch Skin. Can you tell us when did it begin to start with?
Okay, so Stretch Skin was incorporated late 2018, October of 2018 to be exact. And one of the reasons why we started with Stretch Skin, because we look at the gaps that there were in elderly care. Part of my research is to look at what kind of things which will encourage and motivate patients to move, to do their rehab, because we realized that in terms of adherence for physical rehab, between 50 to 70% of patients do not adhere to the treatment. They will be able to move the moment they are able to move, even though they have not completed their cycle, they will just stop, and we realize that it's not just for the elderly, but apparently it's the same for athletes and also sports enthusiasts because of their eagerness to get into the game, so always physical rehab is always an afterthought. Get to the game first, get to the game. And the same thing with the elderly, they either not motivated or they want to get to the game early. So when we realized the gap, then we decided that we want to do something to fulfill that gap. That was part of it.
I'm going to jump in here because I want to ask that question that I know that everybody's going to be wanting you to answer. What is scratch? I got it in my imagination. It's something that's going to go over your skin, right? But what is stretch skin?
Okay, so basically, as we mentioned, that part of the physical rehab is to motivate patients to do their rehab. So we have a gaming platform where you have got all the games which is related to rehab. We call it, a lot of these names which is familiar to Singaporean, like Chinatown, Burger Ramly, which is a famous burger from Malaysia and in Singapore. So we got a lot of localized stuff within the games. And we realized that most often that these patients who are playing with the games, are interacting with the games, they would probably need to bring themselves in front of a screen, to be interacting with it. And then there's an device to be moving and it will capture the motions. And then you will know how much progress a patient has done. However, we realize that there are going to be patients who are not going to be mobile and they're going to be bounded on their wheelchairs, or they are even, on their beds, they couldn't get up. So we realized that wearables would be something which could actually help to solve this issue. So they can actually put on a glove or a knee guard or ankle guard and they move. But the essence of these wearables, our secret sauce is what we call soft sensors. So these soft sensors actually is stretchable in nature. They can detect motion and they can actually detect gripping force. So these sensors or soft sensors, they are known as stretchable electronics. So the name stretch skin, because you're putting it on your, on your elbow, and then you can stretch, and you can move around and it can detect your motion. That's why we came up with the name stretch skin.
Whoa, that's brilliant.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a tongue twister, stretch skin. We find some people having difficulty to pronounce stretch skin.
You had me, that's for sure. I was starting to struggle at one stage.
Yeah. So that's how we got it. Yeah, that's what stretch skin is about. So it's what we use stretchable electronic sensors in our wearables, because most of the wearables out there in the market are using hard sensors when we are using soft sensors, which make it applicable to any part of the body, behind the neck, your small joints, any part of the body.
So wherever the problem is, you put it on there and you can move it. It'll pick up whether you're moving correctly or whether you're doing enough.
Correct. It basically detects motion. Yeah.
So you've done this just for residential homes for the elderly. That's a fantastic thing. And when did you realize that this was going to go into many, many more marketplaces?
I think we went to the gaming companies. We went to the gaming companies thinking of curating games, from companies, whether they want to put it on our gaming platform. And then the gaming companies when they saw what we were doing, they were excited because they felt that this is another gaming peripheral. It's not just your keyboard, not just your mouse, but you can actually, the whole body can become a gaming peripheral. It becomes active gaming because you are controlling the game avatars using your body motion. And then we were told by these gaming companies as well that because it can detect the motion, what will happen is that they can actually develop games using that. So they will collect the motion data and then encapsulate it with their artwork for them to create their games. So it can be used for games and it can also be used for development of games. So that's how we realized that how big is the potential of this, whatever we are doing.
And the types of glove, I saw a glove. Is that right? You've got a glove that you can kind of now play these games and it's more interactive?
Correct. So our first prototype is actually gaming gloves, but it's not necessarily, it can be for your knees, it can be for your ankle. But we started off with the games because, it's the easiest part of the body that we can actually control. And we have things like you can control the gun, you can control the motion, there's a number of things that you can do with the gaming club. It's quite exciting, you know, when we think about it.
It's exciting for me because it's not just a chore anymore. You're gamifying it. So if there is something that you need to do, you're not just feeling the pain. You're actually you're enjoying the experience. I know it sounds strange, but you're enjoying the experience. I know you'll have to put up with a bit of pain, but that's a really great way. What's the feedback so far? Have you been trialing this? How's it been? How's the trials been going?
So our eldest patient is 91 years old. You know, so if it works for a 91 years old, it can definitely work for anybody below that age. And in terms of the feedback that we have got, we realized that they are having so much fun. In fact, what we have done with a research center is that we have been running something known as the Singapore Intergenerational National Games, where we pair up an undergraduate student together with an elderly and get them to play. And then we realize there's increased engagement, there's increased satisfaction, and they simply like to, you know, to be on the gaming platform and play. We have seen elderlies who are with their walkers. They come in front of the screen. The moment they are in front of the screen, they put their walker away and they totally forgot that they are doing rehab. You know, they'll be like punching or they'll be moving.
No way.
Yes. It is really fun to watch them, you know. And I sometimes get my friend to test and they'll be like trying a bit and they say, look at the videos that I've captured for this elderly. They are really competitive, you know, so they are really enjoying it. So we want to translate the enjoyment that we get from the elderlies and to the other patients, you know, be it sportsmen who are injured, you know, or your physical rehab that you require every day. Yep.
I think it's magical, but you don't need me to tell that. You've won some pretty big awards as well in Singapore.
Yep. So we are recognized now as a health tech consortium, part of the health tech companies under a consortium. And we have also received the Technology Innovation Award from Abu Dhabi early last year. So this we are still pretty early, you know, but we have got a couple of awards. You know, we are grateful for that. Yeah.
I think you're doing amazingly. And how many have you got in your team?
Right now, there's 5 of us, but somebody joined. I just recruited somebody over the weekend, so it's 6 of us now.
And I'm looking at your face, and I can see that big, massive smile of yours. How important is it that when you grow, it means so much to you? Because it obviously does. Yeah.
So I mean, going to Qatar, we are exposed to a number of, you know, we know that the elite athletes are going there. You know, they have great facilities. When you have great facilities, mean you have got great talents over there. You know, so you know, our presentation and our meetings with them will actually help us to further develop our product. You know, because we are not going there only to present what we have, but to also learn. Because they have got this tacit knowledge, you know, in Qatar regarding the top athletes. So that can actually be translated into a lot of product development, into a lot of things that we didn't know in the first place. Yeah.
Did you start the company? And I know that because you seem such a character, and this must mean so much to you, especially when you see the results. Did you realize that you had something special? Did you start this on your own first? Was it something you started on your own?
This is something that I started with my co-founder. You know, we just connected, you know, when we met. He's a research engineer in the university where I was doing my PhD. He was also doing volunteers in a number of elderly homes. And I'm attached to a couple of research centers in Singapore, and one of them is the Aging Research Institute in Society and Education. And we do a lot of research on elderly, on physical rehab, and we realized that there is something which is really needed, you know, because I was also doing research on diabetes, and one of the things that really help diabetes patient is doing exercise. We understand that the main medicine for diabetics is something known as metformin, and it actually influences the blood glucose by 30%, but exercise will actually influence the blood glucose by 50%. So nothing works like exercise for diabetics. So that actually, when I saw, you know, there is something that you can motivate through gamification, and make it fun. It is something that to me is something that I have to do. And when I met Mayang, and he's an expert in stretchable and flexible electronics, we saw that there was something that we clicked and it just worked, and everything flows naturally.
Did you realize at that stage that you had something special? When did you realize that you had something special?
We met during a Google event, actually, in one of the demo days in Singapore. And we discussed over a period about 4 to 5 months before we actually thought that we should actually open up a company and start the ball rolling. So I think it was over a period of time when we discussed, but I really liked the technology that Mayang was working on. And he liked the idea that, I work on gamification and working on patients' emotion to change their behavior. So we saw that was a great opportunity. And in fact, from World Health Organization, there is an initiative known as Rehab 2030. They felt that 2.5 billion people who needs rehab are not getting rehab. So, we saw this initiative, and then we saw that we were doing, and we saw that there is something huge, there's a huge potential there that, we should address. So it just clicked. Yeah.
And with you said you did a PhD in diabetes. It seems like this was all meant to be, right? This all seems like a dream. It's all just fitting into place for you.
Right. I think my supervisor was like, Arifin, I know you love the startup scene, you love entrepreneurship, you're always talking about it. You are not like most of my PhD candidates or my PhD students. The moment you finish your PhD, just start your own company and get on with it, and she was full of support about me starting a company. And we have got a lot of help, not only within the team, but also, from the research center that I've been working with. So everything, like you mentioned, it was like just meant to be, everything clicked. Yeah. So
is it hard because it looks like it's just a matter of time before you're global? I don't know where this is it's just in Singapore at the moment, but it feels like you've got something that special that this could go all around the world. And it sounds amazing. How do you keep your feet on the floor?
I guess we realized that there's still a lot of work ahead. We are not getting it into our heads that there's a lot more work to be done. Being in the QST cohort, there's a lot of other great startups as well. So we don't see ourselves as the premier startup in Qatar itself. I think you just spoke to Bbox. There is one great startup that that we can learn a lot from, and a lot of other alumni that we saw, and we've seen that it's very easy to go down, because we are in post-COVID. There's a new norm. Everything is different. There's a lot of factors which can actually pull down a company. So yeah, I think all these fact and probably perhaps my own upbringing from my family, and Singapore is about work. Maybe that kind of work ethics have helped us to put our feet on the ground.
For me, I've only just met you, really, but I've only just met you. It's very difficult to be able to build a picture that instantly, but you are such a humble person. You're such a humble person. And you can just tell that you're one of those individuals that you just want to do the best. And you've found a niche in the marketplace because you found that niche. And it's like you found an opportunity. I don't even want to say that. You just wanted to help people. And this will, without a shadow of a doubt, with what you've said to me already, it's just a matter of time before it's taken off already. But for you to get on that global stage, and it's going to be great for you because you're going to be a great example to others to show them what startups and what you've had to come through. And I'm excited for you because I'm almost positive that you're going to make it real big. I love the way that you're just trying to go out there and support others in difficult times. It's brilliant.
Thank you, Steve. I mean, I really appreciate the well wishes, and like I mentioned, we are just starting out. There's a lot for us to learn, and we try to do the best that we can. The bottom line is about delivering the service to people, to make them smile, to make them happy, to get them better. Yeah.
What's your a year plan? Where do you want to be from a year from now?
We have already started selling our first product just about a month ago, or about 3 weeks ago. We got our first purchase order, in Singapore. And which is why I brought in a sales team, which is to manage the accounts, because we know that there's like even within the small red dot in Singapore, there's already like about 80 to 100 potential rehab homes, and right now they are building another 200 rehab homes with the focus on elderly, and we have not even touched on the sports side. We thought that we are going to go into sports probably a little bit later, but I know our involvement with QST have opened up this huge opportunity, in sports. And so my understanding is that we are going to do simultaneously in terms of aging and rehab, and we are going to also work on the sports part of it. So the idea right now from now till the end of the year is to basically to come up with an aesthetically designed wearable, because right now a lot of the hardware is still rudimentary in that sense, but our gaming platform is ready. So even then we have quite a number of requests from companies from the health side as well as from the gaming side to sell them the sensors. So we hope to fulfill that. So that's the whole idea, basically to start fulfilling orders from now till the end of the year.
You're already dealing in the sports. I'm going to have this in my memory for a long time, where you said that you're dealing with the elderly, and then all of a sudden they put your equipment on and they start playing the games, and their walkers go out. They forget their walkers. That's got to be it's sport, but just to a different marketplace.
Correct. Yeah, you are seeing esports combined with elderly rehab, and you've got totally new, or what you can call it under a new category called active gaming or something. Yeah.
I feel that
yeah.
I've had it already this week, and I've had the hairs on the back of my neck stand up on end. It's going to be, this could potentially have such a major impact on a global basis. I know that my wife used to, she used to work in residential homes, and they're sitting around, they're not doing anything, and it's kind of, and she used to tell me those type of things. But to have this type of stuff where they can interact with, and they can go at their own pace, is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it's going to be fun for them as well. It's going to be fun for me when I get to the age.
Yeah, exactly. I'm there closer than you, let me tell you. I can't wait. I want the franchise for the UK and the Middle East, if I may.
Yeah. We will definitely, Middle East is definitely a place where, we want to go, because we realize that a lot of elite sportsmen are going there, for treatment, for them to chill, So definitely Middle East and Qatar, being with the World Cup coming along soon, is something that we see that, the branding of Qatar, to be associated with Qatar, to be associated with Qatar Sports Tech is something going to be really great for Stretchkin and its branding, definitely.
I'd done a bit of research before I came on, and I was still struggling to really come to grips with exactly what you did. Right now, I think I can't be. It's just a wonderful feeling I'm getting for you, because I just look at it. The transformation that you could have with people is going to be incredible.
You make it easy for me, Steve.
I think you've made it easy for yourself, because, okay, let's ask you another question. How difficult has it been over these last 2 years? I'm sorry if I get the times right, but over this last period when you started up, how many times did you want to give in, or you felt that you had to give in?
We were actually supposed to go to China last year. We had this massive investor that wanted us to come to China. We had discussed with him in January of last year, before COVID. This is an investor that was able to get us to penetrate the gaming market as well as the healthcare. He has a number of hospitals, and he has a number of gaming investments in various startups. and and then the deal went off. That was a low point for us. That was a low point for us, and it has taken some time for us, to start talking to investor. It was that period of time from March, to probably November of last year. It was relatively difficult, but we keep looking for accelerators. We keep talking to homes. We keep talking to rehab, and think that helps. I think I must also merit my co-founder. He is a really focused guy. I hope whoever is listening in, will pray for him, because he had COVID positive just last week.
Oh, yeah.
He and two of his family members. He's back in Delhi in India. So he was instrumental, I must say, in terms of a push. And we are so lucky to have an angel investor who really supported us throughout this time. He was like part of the core team. He was really pushing us, motivating us. So a combination of things actually helped us to get through this debacle. And I guess that's the same for the rest of the other startups as well. It wasn't easy during the COVID period.
No, it wasn't easy. It was, but it's testament to you that you came through it. And my prayers are with your founder. I hope he gets a great recovery.
I hope he gets well.
Yeah, and it's been your story is amazing. It's like, it really is amazing. I can't wait to see how you push this forward. I can't wait to meet you when you come to Qatar, and I'm sure you're going to come to Qatar. But you seem like you're going to do well.
I hope so, Steve. We are really looking forward.
So okay, short term, I asked you a little bit of a long term, but short term, what's the biggest things that you've got to overcome right now? Is it to get the orders out? How's the order book looking?
Right now we are looking at 20 rehab homes, and out of that 20 rehab homes, we hope to get about 7 sales out, from now till probably end of July. We have got 2 sales done, so 5 more to go. There's the immediate outlook, basically. And then in terms of product development, my co-founder is looking at it. He's the CTO of the company, and he's looking at the stretchable electronics. He's looking to bring that to Qatar, and we try to bring as much as possible to Qatar and showcase what we have. So basically the idea is to make the sales and also to do our best in showcasing what we have in Qatar. That would be the next one.
If there was one piece of advice that you would talk to any sports tech or tech startup, what would it be to give to them? What advice would you give them to say, make sure you do this, because this is going to be crucial?
It may seem basically what I will do is that get to QST, go to their website. It is a great accelerator. I've been to a couple of accelerators, but this accelerator really focuses on sports and sports tech. They have got great mentors, great guys who are managing the company. You have to be on QST. That is the first thing I have to say. And you need to have the passion for sports. That passion for sports, that the understanding of what the fans, you need to be a fan first, and that I would say is a key to to you doing well as a sports related startup.
I think one of the helpful tips that I'm going to come out with meeting you today is love what you do, because I can guarantee, I without a shadow of a doubt, you love every second of what you're doing.
Yeah, you are right, Steve. Yeah, I enjoy it. It's really, to see people getting better, get back to the games, get back to do what they love, get mobile, get moving. That is something actually which push us day to day and make us excited to get this going, and not just only bring it to the sports fraternity, but beyond that as well.
Arifin, I want you to be my friend. You are a top man. And I'm privileged to have had the interview with you today. And thank you so much for staying up until 11 o'clock at night.
It is my honor, Steve. You have been a great guy. You are welcome to support Manchester United and not just stay with Bristol.
Manchester United is not a bad team. It's not a bad team. I think we're not going to get promoted to the Premiership next year. That's for sure. Bristol City, by the way, we're not going to get promoted this year. So maybe next year we might be playing you.
You may need some of Stretch Keen's product to get you to Premier League.
You missed my point earlier where I said to you, I want the franchise for the Middle East and I want the franchise from the UK because that's going to be fun. This product is going to be fantastic back there.
I get it.
Yeah, you get it now. But don't worry, QST, I'm not poaching your ideas and things, okay? You being a top man, you're going to make a difference, a massive difference, and you're an ideal person to come on our show because it's all about people that's making a difference, and you make it from your heart more than you make it from anywhere else, and I think that's what's probably made this all work for you. You deserve everything that's coming to you. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you.
Everybody,
Bye-bye.
thanks for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this one as much as I have. Hey, listen, sometimes just keep on doing what you love, okay? Because you never know when that love, that passion is going to do something that's going to possibly change the world, okay? Thanks for listening. Great guest. Thank you again, Arifin. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.
Everyone, thank you for listening. Please send us your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And don't forget to review us on your favorite podcast app.